Hello and welcome. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of What's the Tea with Gen X, Y, and Z. So, in this show, you're going to get 3 generations, 3 perspectives, 1 cup of truth, we hope.
We'll see.
So, get ready for a refreshing take on hot button topics. We're going to be brewing up a steaming hot take on today's most pressing topics and issues. And we'll be dishing on everything from social justice to pop culture with humor, honesty, and maybe even a little healthy debate. We're going to sip the tea, we're going to spill the honest truth, and we're going to find some common ground across the generational gap. This is going to be informative, it's going to be insightful, and it's guaranteed to stir the pot.
It's going to stir the pot now.
Amen. Yes. So I'm Dr. Melissa, and I'm representing the X Factor.
And I'm Amber. I'm holding it down for us millennials.
And I'm Ziah, keeping it real for Generation Z.
All right, Generation Z. And millennials, just in case you didn't know, that's why. So,
yes,
yeah,
I'm sorry, the wire.
But millennial didn't go good with Generation X, millennial, and Z. So, right.
They always got to be different.
Yeah, got to be different.
Wouldn't be us if we weren't.
So I wanted to give you guys just a little bit of context since this is the first episode. I want to break it down when we talk about the different generations. And I want to make the case for why this show is so important. First up, I want to talk about my generation, the best generation, Gen X. Gen X people are born between 1965 and 1980. I happen to be 1970. Stop doing the math. Mind your business. Okay, mind your business. I'm a 1970s baby. Gen X people, we're known for our independence and we're known for our adaptability. Next, we got the Y, the millennials, and these individuals are born between the years of 1981 and 1996.
Oh.
This generation is really all about collaboration and work-life balance, right? That's the hallmark of this generation. And then last but not least, we have our Gen Z people. And they're born between the years of 1997 and 2012. These are your true digital natives. They were born during this digital age. They are diverse, they are pragmatic, and they are not afraid to stand up for what they believe in.
Nope.
And not quietly, okay?
Not at all.
Yeah, but here's the thing. These generations, these different perspectives can lead to some major clashes, especially when it comes to hot button topics and issues. So what we want to do with this show is to bring it all to the table and to ensure that we're having the same conversation. Oftentimes we're talking, but we're not talking the same language. And not at all. You said that with a lot of bravado.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Well, a lot of experience.
Okay, so not at all. We're not doing it at all. So I want to just throw it out to my esteemed host. Let's take, for instance, I just want to throw out some things just to get you thinking about the different perspectives. Let's take the workplace, for instance. For us Gen Xers, we're used to grinding. We're used to paying our dues. We wait our turn. We go up the ladder. We wait for our promotions. Eventually, we get the gold watch after 20 years and all of that.
Gold watch.
The gold watch. But now, the millennials, the Y and the Zers, they're like, nah. We want flexibility and purpose, which can lead to some real serious friction and misunderstandings. So, what's the key to bridging that gap? Empathy and open communication.
All right.
What say you guys about the workplace?
Well, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you now, we don't want the gold watch. We want the gold chain, okay? Watch is a little outdated. So I'm glad when you was talking about the Zers, the one word I want to say that you forgot, innovative. Also revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? We're all about it.
And
we're
modest.
All about modest. Yeah, we're working on humility. But but at the end of the day, like I said before, we're revolutionary. We want to go ahead and basically just go ahead and rewrite that American dream.
So, yeah. Say less. Say less. Was that Gen Z?
It might be Gen Y.
Okay,
be Gen
I'm
Y.
sorry.
We say that.
Okay. All right. What say you, Y?
For us, I feel like is more so of making doing stuff for our families. You know, we want the gold chain and we want to go watch.
Oh, y'all want it all.
Okay.
You know, we want it all. Like it's no limits to us, you know. So I feel like it's one of those things where we want to leave a legacy for our families, but we also want some of the pie. Now, like we don't want to be working hard all our life, but you know, we also want to be able to indulge in some of what we're we're working towards. Of course. So I feel like it's one of those, you know, bridging the gap between both times, you know what I'm saying, of both things.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is for us millennials.
Yeah. It's interesting because one of the things that we talked about some time ago when we talk about workplace had to do with just the whole thing about promoting and waiting your time. And I can recall, as a person that do a lot of interviewing, we got a resume. And the resume was a beautiful resume from a young lady who had like 8 jobs in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, my Gen X sensibility was immediately turned off. I was like, no, we don't need to interview her.
Yeah.
She's not dependable. And I went into this whole spiel about 8 jobs in 2 years and lack of loyalty and all of that.
Absolutely.
And as I was saying that, I heard a little voice on my shoulder. It sounded like a Ziah. And he had a perspective on what he called he felt like I was sort of stereotyping, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Like I said, it's all about rewriting that whole American dream concept that we had back in the 50s, 60s. That might have been a little shot. Sorry.
60s. I thought that was maybe boom here. Go ahead.
Anyway, just with that, as she was saying, with the whole, changing a job, 8 jobs in the past 2 years. So from a Ziah's perspective, I would say that nowadays what we go ahead and do is we'll switch jobs when we feel like there's no progression, right? When there's not an increase in salary, despite whatever production we're doing, how good our production is, we'll just go ahead and change the job. The reason we'll change the job is a different employer might see our experience. They might see the different positions. So now we can attain different positions while still steadily increasing our wage instead of waiting 8 years in the same organization without seeing no pay or increase in pay.
How would a why line up with that?
See, when I started working, my mom was like, when you get that job, you better keep that job. So she and it's not, I don't think what she told me was bad. It definitely resonated with me. And, that's why each time I've had a job, I've always stayed there for a long period of time. But we also adapted some of the Ziah's concepts. Like, what am I here for 10 to 15 years if I'm still being stagnant in the same position?
Exactly.
I'm working hard. I'm showing that I'm dependable. I'm showing that I can do my job. I'm showing everything that you basically put in that job description. And I'm still at the same salary.
Right.
And still doing the same things. There's no room for growth, as I would say. So, it's a lot of different, perspectives with that. You stay on the job for a long period of time, but what are you benefiting from staying on the job for a long time? So then, what are you getting out of it?
Right.
See, here's the thing, and I'm going to say to you, Xers feel the same way. I just think we weren't given permission for another option.
Right.
I mean, I can tell you, I've always felt the same way. Sort of like you're on this job and, in my generation, it was loyalty to the company. Stay on that company. If the job is treating you well, if they're nice to you, if they blah, 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 you stayed on that job. But I always felt that way. It's just that my generation, we weren't given the latitude to say, I can do something different.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of that was coming from being reared by boomers. But when I hear you guys, and it was interesting for me just to have that different perspective, because I will tell you, it shifted my mindset. Right. I had long been considering people with multiple jobs as job hoppers. Like they're hopping jobs, one place to the next.
Right.
But I didn't think about the shift from loyalty to the company to personal loyalty,
right.
Loyalty to your family, loyalty to your progression, loyalty to your growth.
Right.
And in all honesty, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I think we were just kind of hating on the fact that nobody gave us permission to do that. We had to stay and get the watch.
Right, because you're essentially doing a disservice to yourself. You stay in the same company and seeing no progression. So like you said, there has to be some type of loyalty to yourself. as well as the organization has to be a healthy balance. So
Right.
You gotta want to go to work every day and don't get that angst when you pull up in the parking lot and be like, do I gotta go here? It's like, I gotta be here for 10 years. Like, what am I getting out of this?
Right. Feel like your efforts being undermined.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm doing this, for my family, but what am I doing for myself in this?
Exactly.
Ooh, that leads us to a whole nother thing, and just how my mindset has shifted now when we talk about finding your own way and your purpose and being true to yourself, standing in your truth and all of that. It really does heighten the conversation. And like I said, the whole difference in perspective. And so that day, what I learned was I was really taking a hard look at someone through my own lens of what I felt was loyalty and dependability. Right. And I was missing it. So that leads us to why this conversation is so important, because we're oftentimes dealing with the same issue, but because we have different perspectives, we're talking at each other. Like we're having a conversation, but we're really not talking to each other. We're talking past each other. And so, that's the reason why a show like this is so important. It has truly, it's a coming to age. It's a time for us to come to the table, sip on some tea and have some conversations so that we know what's up. So we're going to take a 2-minute break, commercial break, and we're going to be back. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a hot topic, something that's been on the news and something that I think is going to spark a healthy debate. Right? All right, so we'll see you on the other side of the 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. What's the Tea with Gen XYZ?
Unlock the potential of your small business with Diadem Consulting. We're your all-in-one solution, crafting effective systems, leveraging advanced technology, and providing comprehensive training. We're not just a marketing firm, we're your team, committed to propelling your growth and establishing your brand. At Diadem Consulting, we understand the value of your investment, tailoring our programs to key performance indicators. For professionalism, expertise, and efficiency, choose Diadem Consulting. Visit our website at diademconsulting.org. Discover the ultimate marketing strategy today.
In a world where strength is often overlooked, GMA Interventions is a beacon of hope. We're a behavioral health agency dedicated to empowering individuals, families, and communities to overcome mental health and substance abuse challenges. Our programs are designed with vision, hope, and strength at their core because we believe in the potential of every individual. Imagine a world where everyone leads capable, responsible, fulfilled lives, in strong families and healthy communities. That's our vision. With GMA Interventions, it's not just a dream, it's a possibility, fostering strength, nurturing hope, building a better tomorrow today. Visit us at gmainterventions.com.
In the wake of military service, a new mission emerges. The Veteran Benefits and Transition Program stands ready to unveil the path to financial freedom and legacy creation. Here, discipline and leadership morph into entrepreneurial prowess, turning veterans into visionaries. Enjoy the honor of VA disability benefits while transitioning to the helm of your own business. No longer the follower, now the commander of your destiny. Uncover the power within. The Veteran Benefits and Transition Program, your service, your success. Visit us at vbtp.pro.
Catch the wave of success with Standing on Business with Dr. Melissa. Unlock your purpose, align it with your entrepreneurial spirit, and witness your business thrive. This isn't just about authenticity, it's about building a foundation so solid, your business becomes synonymous with profitability. Tune in as we delve into marketing strategies that work and create an empire that stands on business. Because when purpose meets strategy, success is inevitable. Standing on Business with Dr. Melissa, where authenticity meets profitability.
And we're back. Thank you for coming back and rocking with What's the Tea with Gen X, Y, and Z. As promised, we're going to dive into a topic that it's a pretty hot button topic.
Very relevant.
A lot of conversation about it. And that has to do with the whole student loan and student loan forgiveness conundrum. What say you, Z?
So, like I said, hopefully this is not recency bias. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to Joe Biden's new student loan debt forgiveness policy or bill that he's trying to introduce. He originally introduced it in 2022, got shut down because he was using a separate entity at the time. Now he's trying to use a new one. Those that do not know the actual concept of it, he's trying to forgive up to $10,000 in income, $10,000 off the debt, depending on income. The problem is, and this is why it's going to be a disparity between each generation now, is because depending on your income, if it exceeds $125,000, you are no longer eligible to receive that $10,000 deduction off your debt. So I just want to hear y'all perspective on how do y'all feel like that impacts each one of y'all generation.
Well, I'm gonna let you know, for us wires, some of us are hoping to make $125,000 a year to, not be able to get it. But for a majority of us, we are able to get that $10,000 off. But it's one of them things where student loan debt was one thing that we had to do to expand our education. So it's one of those things where it's like you got to incur that cost.
Yep.
And then a lot of our debt is like more than house rates right now. So it's one of those things where I hope it could be more than 10,000, but it's one of the things where you got to be grateful for being able to get something, right?
You definitely.
But hey, I'm not complaining.
Okay. Speaking of not complaining, so let me say this as an excerpt, and as a person that was first generation who relied heavily on student loans and grants and all of that. I was the first person in my family to go to college, so had to rely heavily on that and incurred a lot of debt. Okay. Now I'm going to say that the humane part of me, the loving part of me, certainly understands the need for student loan forgiveness. And am I a supporter of it? Yeah, to a certain extent I am. But I will say, it does stick in my craw just a little bit that, first of all, if you are making over six figures, you can't get it. Because it's just amazing. After 135 years in the workplace, Xers might finally be over six figures. And now it's like being penalized for that.
Right.
Yeah.
It only took 3,000 years to get to six figures. But okay, I digress.
Right.
And then for myself, as someone who's been paying back student loans for a number of years, it is a little bit of haterade, where I'm like, why didn't they do this 10 years ago? Right. But I will say, based on the rising costs of higher education, I am a big proponent in making going to college as easy as possible. Now, I'm going to throw this out here for the two of you and to our viewers as well. I'm one of those people also that believe in when you pay attention, right? Most things that I've gotten in life for free resources, free magazine, I don't read it. It was free. But if I paid money for it, then I'm sort of like, I need to read this because I paid my money, my coin, right?
Yeah.
I have a couple of kids. I promise you, the cars that were given to my kids were the ones that ended up with the scratches and the dents and the accidents. When they actually bought their own cars, my gosh, you can't even get, it's like, oh, don't close my door too hard. It's like, my gosh, the car I bought you looked like it had, been in a demolition derby.
Right.
No,
Okay. But a lot of that is because they had to pay for it, right?
No, that's
so
true.
Yep.
how do you guys, what do you think about the whole concept though, that sometimes we need to have skin in the game. We need to invest in ourselves. And with respect to student loans, that means having some debt to pay for the education that you were able to get.
Right. I'm with you. I believe there has to be a sense of personal accountability. One word I'm glad you brought up was higher costs. Now, prefer that word to be inflation because it's higher costs anywhere, not just for education. So as a Ziah, I have to go ahead and speak how I believe, and this might be a little controversial from all my people out there, that we're impacted the most by the student loan debt. And that's just because of inflation. If you actually, I had to digital age. I had to do my research. If you actually look, that there are Zers at the age between 20 to 25 accumulate more student debt than millennials, 13% more from when they were 20 and 25, and that's even accounting for the inflation as well. So, and we know it's only going to increase. So we're ongoing. We're still just starting our education. So it's going to get tough from there.
Ooh, that's a tough statistic. Yeah,
13%.
That's a real tough statistic. I'm kind of mad because I didn't know that statistic.
That's one of the reasons the bills. That's one of the reasons the bills got proposed in the first place.
That's why you need a Zier at the table.
Yeah.
Right.
When it comes to these statistics, you putting us millennials at a far default, but at a far disadvantage, of course. But I definitely agree with furthering your education is costing a heck of a lot. And just from I know I'm speaking for all of us millennials when I say that we really don't even want to pay our student loan debt. So, down the line, what I'm hoping they will propose is at least they'll pay for your associate's degree, but that might be a long shot. Like Dr. M said, nothing in life really is free. And even if it is free, at some point down the line, you're going to see it that you're going to have to pay it back.
Exactly.
But, you got to have some kind of education right now, unfortunately, in the workforce field, or you're not going to be able to, get the job that's paying anything.
Right.
And, is a dilemma there too. I'm not going to speak too fast on that. That's, a next.
Because I was about to say, but do you need an education? That's the question.
Yep.
Exactly.
Do you need an education, over experience?
That's the question nowadays.
That's the
question
question
nowadays.
Right. It's almost like the chicken. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
What you might find is that employers are valuing more experience over education.
Right.
And then it's that whole conundrum of how do I get experience unless you get me the job?
Exactly.
But I can't get the job unless I have experience.
Exactly.
So where do you guys line up with that?
Catch-22.
Well, I'll go ahead and start with that. First of all, I want to commend you for being a true representation of your generation with the chicken and the egg. Have not heard that in quite a long time, so I'll commend you for that.
Hold on.
I've never heard that.
Audience, viewers, that's called shade. If you don't know what that is, look it up. That's called being shady.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
And that's present in all generations.
Yes.
But yeah, I want to go ahead and talk about the experience over the education conundrum. It's very prevalent situation going on nowadays. And a lot of times undergraduates will find themselves with a degree but can't land the job. And I just want to go ahead and talk about a personal experience, no statistics this time.
Amen. Just joking.
And I just remember it's a prevalent, like I said, it's prevalent all around each industry. And even with food service, in high school, I had 3 years of work experience and still could not land a Burger King job at 4 different locations. You know what I'm saying? So they require experience a lot then, and these are people who, again, their education is very limited. So it's all about experience.
Let me jump in and say this, and this is something that we're going to probably continue to tap into because this is an ongoing conversation.
Yes.
But I want you, I'm a big proponent in education, being a first generation, and Barack Obama said, if you think the price of education is high, consider the cost of ignorance. So, but now there's a caveat to that. I also have in my office a book called The Millionaire Next Door. And that book is really talking about people who are millionaires that did not get the traditional 4-year college degree. These are your plumbers, your electricians. These are people that went the entrepreneurial path.
Yeah.
And these folk are making millions as opposed to people with massive student loan debt that can barely make $50,000.
Exactly.
So the truth of the matter is, while I'm a proponent of education and I'm thinking about the traditional 4-year education track,
right?
There are many, 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 many people who are highly successful that never walked in a college classroom.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And if I could just add on that a little bit as a Zier, if you would go ahead and look, research suggests there's 46% of current entrepreneurs that don't even have a college degree. Okay, so Zers are paying attention to that. We're looking at that, and we're taking advantage of this new media and digital age. So there has been a large increase of margin of young entrepreneurs, specifically Zers. Don't want to flex, but
you definitely are. You come with the statistics, then you come and say that you don't want to flex. Well, good. What is he not doing?
Well, I will say this, and for those of you who know me, you know, entrepreneurship is my love language. So here's what I would say when we're talking about the student loan debt. It's a hot topic. It is a topic that's not going anywhere. There are people that line up on all sides. Absolutely. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. Yes. We speak from the lens and our perspective of our own experiences, and that's okay. At the end of the day, that's what this is really all about. This is about Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, all being a part of the same conversation. Exactly. It's about us bridging the generational divide. And I want you to know that that's not just important for ensuring that we have a future and an opportunity to come to the table and work things out. But I want you to know, whether you're talking about work or family or politics or whatever, we've got to get to a point where we can understand each other.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that we can have empathy.
Right.
And it's when we do that we can have some very, very real changes. Mm-hmm. So I want you guys to stay tuned with us. Keep rocking with us. Till the next time, I want you to keep sipping. I want you to keep talking. I want you to keep having healthy debates. And tune in next week for another thought-provoking and entertaining conversation that bridges the gap between three generations, X, Y, and Z. Take care.